A little bit ago, the team behind Trench Crusade released an official map. It was drawn by Jared Blando and depicts the current landscape around Europe and a little bits of Africa and Asia. Just to compare, here's what the map looked like in 1914 in our timeline, and here's what it looks like currently in 2025. To start off, let's look at different parts of the map where there is text in Latin. Now, I don't know any Latin, and would rather not try to piece together the broken English that Google Translate gives you. Luckily, over on the Trench Crusade subreddit, I found this comment from Reddit user Muini, who does know Latin and translated all the text. Up here in Scandinavia, it says, Northern Europe is divided into two parts. The population is not so great, but those who inhabit here are hardened by snow and ice. Wintry shadows draws attention toward the grey darkness, since it attracts the infernal men. Nevertheless, divine will preserves through heavenly sustenance two greater kingdoms. In the western part, the union of the three crowns of Kalmaria rules, having been consecrated against the adversaries. Once the kingdoms of Denmark, Sweden, and Norway were distinguished by mountains, but now are united. Sweden also ruled over the Gothic island, across the Swedish Sea, and the Finnish fortress. Now, just as Trinity itself, the region has one body. Over by Britain, it says, These islands of the Atlantic boundary, in parentheses, you could suggest the locative at the Atlantic boundary, but that's stylistically wrong. Many peoples have suffered the incursions of heretics dreadfully. The irate from this miserable rainy land, the Hiberni, in parentheses Irish, and Albionesses, parentheses likely invented word for Albions, are courageous, the English, Christians, and Cambreses, as much as the suns do the wild. The region, something, is sordid. And then it says something about innocent immigrants to a nun. Down by Marrakesh, it says, This region of Africa was formerly called Mauritania, when it was believed to be the end of the world and Christians inhabited it. Africa was once the mother of saints, but today it is an evil land of suffering. It is arid, grows red with the blood of martyrs, and is inhabited by enemies. Some people of the Holy Cross's control, in parentheses somewhere, the diabolics of the heresy of Mammon contend the lands facing from, in parentheses somewhere, where Africa, something presumably touches, Hispania and Ferrol. Lord Jesus Christ, spare this wasted land of Africa and lead through the cross-bearers to victory. Finally, the compass is text as well, but it's not as easy to read. The compass text is also a bit too blurry to make out, but it says something along the lines of invoking God, of the divine saint, of the turd of faith, deliver an army, something about grace to the Duke of God in Antioch, Constantine. Ending with something like C2V, Dio prerat cum in aeternum, which I'm sure I'm misreading. After thoroughly butchering that, let's take a look at the primary focus of Trench Crusade, the Levant. All areas where the land is grey is an area either controlled or ravaged by the forces of hell. Here we see Jerusalem. It's so gone that only the portal is depicted. Above it is New Antioch, which is way smaller than I figured it would be. Its size, and that it's surrounded by hell territory, is a testament to how strong its forces are. Over to the right is the Sultanate's land, and Jesus Christ, that wall is way bigger than I thought it was. I'm not surprised that these are the two main forces against hell with how close to the portal they are. Beneath Jerusalem is the city of Ekron. It would be in modern-day Israel, currently. Just chilling out next to it is Beelzebub. I would have thought he'd look grosser after seeing his forces. It's interesting that they would depict him, as I believe he would be one of the demons not allowed to come to Earth. Going further left, we see the domain of Mammon. Again, this depiction of Mammon is interesting, since I doubt he'd be allowed on Earth. Now let's go through the timeline and look at the locations mentioned. We skip to 1165 in the timeline, since everything before talks about the Levant. The old man in the mountain and his Hashashins defend the mountain fortress of Alamut. Reportedly, the castle stands to this day, despite being besieged for hundreds of years. We see Alamut right above the wall, surrounded by enemy-claimed territory. With how close they are, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sultanate is helping them out. In 1429, living Saint Joan of Arc drives the Black Grail from mainland Europe. Joan of Arc was a French woman, meaning the Black Grail had made its way all the way through Europe, likely from here, only to get dragged right back over there. Now don't forget this map is current for 1914, so they might have pushed back even further towards the Levant. In 1477, the city of Argos is taken by God, and it is no more. If Argos still existed, it would be here on the map, right below Athens. 1573, Sacred Order of the Dragon halts the heretic advance after the destruction of Byzantium. Word spreads of 1 million heretics impaled in the hills of Wallachia. While Wallachia itself doesn't seem to exist anymore on the map, using where it was in the real world would place it roughly here-ish. 1666, the year of 6 woes. In a surprise raid, the newly created heretic fleet captures Gibraltar. The sea fortress becomes the heretic base of operations against Europe. Forces of Hell gain access to the Atlantic. Gibraltar is all the way over here on the left side of the map. The fleet would have had to sail all the way over here, and with taking Gibraltar, all boats would be trapped in this area. 1670. Due to the constant coastal raids by the heretic fleet, the Crown of England begins the construction of the fortress of the White Cliffs of Dover. While Dover isn't marked on the map, Dover was just under London along the water. We can assume it's in the same place due to the coastal raids. 1703. Against all odds, a small force of Hebrew knights striking from their secret fortress destroyed the Templar stronghold at Acre. Modern-day Acre would be a little above New Antioch on the map, right here in Hell-controlled territory. 1872. Heretic forces storm the city of Rijeka. It is fortified and heretic conquest is launched against the European mainland. On the map, Rijeka is right here, this little red ball of death. 1910. Battle of Cordoba. Bloody stalemate. Heretic artillery devastates the ancient city, but the heretic forces fail to gain access to the heartlands of Hispania. Cordova is right here above Gibraltar. Interestingly, the entry says heretic forces couldn't take the city, but the map shows the city in ruin and heretic land extending past the city. Between this entry and 1914, the current time, they might have taken or at least destroyed the city. And that's it for the timeline. To finish off, let's look at some interesting points around the map. To start, let's go over to the top right of the map. The Russia we know never formed. Instead, there's the Tsardom of Novigrad. We also see a little character of Baba Yaga's hut. Now there's other characters like this around the map, such as these sea creatures off to the left. It's unknown if these are just to spice up the map, or if these monsters actually exist in this world. All the way up north in Scandinavia, we see a territory controlled by heretics. There are 0 other heretic-controlled areas nearby. It's unsure if they got there by water with submarines, or if some made a long trek up there. Well, that's actually about it, honestly. Heretic forces seem to be creeping into the top of Africa. Asia seems to be pretty well guarded by the Sultanate, and we don't know how America, Australia, or any island nations are doing currently. Now, while that's it for the map, I want to talk a tiny bit more. The things we have to look forward to are the book being released in a month or two from the Trench Crusade Kickstarter. The creators have also confirmed the Hebrew Knights, Church of Metamorphosis, and Path of the Beast factions will be added and talked about later on this year. I'll cover all of these when they release. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe.